How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about the new review that IGN did on the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game that's coming out February 2nd, sponsored by Ubisoft. I forgot who made I think it's Rocksteady that made it, my bad. We all know IGN's not the most concrete of opinion. We all know that, especially if you're part of the gaming community for so long. This review is really fucking stupid. Um, there are a couple things, and I'm going to touch on those in a second. There are a couple things that he says in the video that I probably 100% agree with. But there's like some pretty main things, and we're going to go through the video, but there's some pretty main things that I want to talk about and tell you guys why that's stupid if you don't already know. So, in defense of IGN, there are two pretty main things that they said. Um, One of them was the fact that it's a live service game. If, we're thinking Destiny 2. Um, like games like that. The Marvel Avengers game, if you remember how well that did. See, live service games are okay, but they are also scary. Especially when you're talking about a game like a DC game. We don't know how that's going to pan out, and by the looks of it, it's not super well constructed so far. They'll probably have a lot more time to work on it. Well, I mean, I guess the game's already like coming out, so never mind. The other thing that I also wanted to bring up, and this is literally just my personal opinion. I don't think it's at all valid in the sense of like you should take my word for it. But in my opinion, when it comes to games that require builds or like constructing your character and like doing certain points, I am not the best at those games. Games you can think of like World of Warcraft, Diablo 4, even fucking like Souls games, like you still have to have some sort of build. And obviously I can do it, I'm just not as fluent with it. So that's my only personal gripes with it. But other than that, this IGN guy is pretty fucking dumb. So let's just jump into the video.
Lots of death happening here. That's also a big part of the problem I have with the entire premise. I can't help but shake that there's no way Rocksteady is going to let any of this stick. Our heroes have done terrible things. There will be a time reversal mechanic or some alternate Earth timeline that comes along and washes away all of the terrible awfulness that happens during the story.
Yes, this is the start of one of the main things that I think the IGN guy got wrong, is it's the Suicide Squad. Of course they're gonna do some terrible shit, okay? And as this guy says, if the name sticks, kill the Justice League, then our goal throughout the story is to kill the Justice League. And he's saying, oh, there's probably gonna be some time reversal, multiversal, something that resets the timeline. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but also, why is that a bad thing? Why can't we have a fun game where it's a different take on a classic, four vigilantes against the world's mightiest heroes or whatever? Instead of the villains being the bad guys and the four ragtag team of heroes, it's four villains or four vigilantes or whatever going against superheroes. I think that's a really cool concept, especially having the effects of killing the Justice League. As much as I want to say that it's not gonna stick, it's going to just be like, oh yeah, fucking Flash went back in time and saved us all. It's still a cool premise to be able to kill these heroes, you know? It's not too edgy to the point where it's like, oh yeah, we're just killing them because we want to see them dead. It's like an actual threat. Like I want to say it's something along the lines of Batman's contingency plans, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be a really cool concept, and I feel like it's just getting dogged on so early.
From enslaving a child form of poison ivy to straight up watching your heroes murder people, there's a lot here to make you feel a bit uncomfortable about the journey you're being taken on.
Yes, exactly. The point of the Suicide Squad isn't to be these good guys that are just saving the world because they feel it in their hearts. They're, first of all, most likely forced to do it from Amanda Waller. And secondly, it's not supposed to make you feel comfortable. You're not supposed to feel like the good guy. It's Suicide Squad. It's not meant to be this feel-good game. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive to the point of a video game, but it's supposed to be you're supposed to be fighting bad guys as the bad guys, and you're not supposed to feel good about it. That's the fucking point.
While they could reverse time to fix the morality issues at play, chances are that will be difficult given the planned expansions, story additions, and gear chases coming later in the form of free updates.
So I can kind of understand what he means by this. It's going to be a little harder to do something like time reversing when you have a live service game, but it's also not impossible. I don't understand why he thinks that maybe there's some DLC or some update or some event or whatever where there is some time reversal shit. That would be really cool, and I don't think it's impossible to do, especially in a game like this. Because he does have some decently fair points with the Justice League being dead. But overall, who cares? It's a Suicide Squad game. You're here for the Suicide Squad, not just the fucking heroes, okay?
At one point, the team puts a bomb in the head of Poison Ivy, who just happens to be a child. But hey, they punch Boomerang for putting a bomb in her head. So let's move on from that whole enslaving a child thing.
Yes, it's a little quirky that they punch Boomerang, but that's kind of Amanda Waller's whole thing, and he does say that later. They're the Suicide Squad. They're bad people. Like I shouldn't have to reiterate it. They're bad guys. That's all you have to fucking know. Jesus Christ.
Rocksteady had a winning formula with the Batman games and is trying to write a completely new book. But so far, lightning is not in this bottle.
So I got two things with that, right? No shit, it's not like that game before. They wanted to try something new. And I don't know, maybe it's not your cup of tea. I'm not going to say it's particularly my cup of tea, but that's what you kind of do with live service games, and it's kind of hard when most of the Suicide Squad uses guns. Like, I think literally only a couple people don't use guns. And that's kind of I don't know, it's supposed to be this ragtag group that kills people with guns. You're not going to get Batman-style combat, you know what I mean? I mean, it would be kind of cool to see if they could do it, but that's not what the Suicide Squad is.
The team is single-handedly responsible for making some of the best combat I have ever experienced. The Predator sections in the Arkham series also allowed you to tackle them with stealth or brute force, adding further flavor and variety to Bruce Wayne's vigilantism.
Another big point that I think the IGN guy gets wrong here is trying to live up to the older game standards. Those games were classics, absolute masterpieces, that took the idea of Batman and made it something that people could play and feel. Where Batman shines is his, like he says, his vigilantism and his fighting and his, brute ways. Where the Suicide Squad shines is with its witty banter, with its more deep themes, with its, I don't know, it's more team-based, more about learning about yourself than Batman is. And I'm not saying Batman doesn't have any depth, and I'm not saying the Suicide Squad has the most depth, but that's kind of the point of the Suicide Squad. They're meant to be more, and especially in recent years, meant to be more joking.
Unfortunately for Suicide Squad, once the fun story bits end, you're left with a much less inspired combat system, and an open world that's filled with tedious tasks that are more about grinding through traditional tropes like point defense or collect the material and turn it in.
Yes, I agree that these tropes are a little overdone in live service games, but that's kind of the point. They're live service. They have to keep it going. In Destiny 2, whenever you walk for a little bit and you get one of those fucking big old strikes where you gotta shoot the 3 things to get the heroic thing. I'm going on a Destiny 2 rant. Like, shit will happen in the universe and it's gonna become repetitive at some point. And that's just how full or live service games work.
But you'll do it surrounded by teammates who won't shut up with their quips, which quickly becomes annoying.
Feels good to be an apex predator.
Might look chill, but that's just my UX design.
Sometimes it's to the point that you'll get 2 to 3 lines of dialogue overlapping while you're just waiting for your crew at a checkpoint.
First of all, the banter is the point. That's part of the Suicide Squad. And secondly, live service games do that. their characters say it at the same time. So on other people's screens, it's different times. It's live service.
And when the combat does start, it has its fun moments, but it also has weird issues like long animations to regen your shield, or you'll get knocked out of an animation for unclear reasons.
But first of all, it's not a long animation to regain your shield. They drop shields. If you look in the video, they drop the shields. They come to you. It's not a long animation. That's just that's the system that they've put in place. It's a drop system that you pick up. And with the whole flying through the air and hitting an obstacle, you hit a fucking poison ivy leaf. I don't even know the game, and I know that poison ivy is a bad guy. And I know that when she has giant fucking botanical fucking big old green legs or whatever, they're probably bad and they're probably gonna hurt you, dude. It's not out of nowhere. You bumped into something. Jesus H. Christ.
While we have this provided boss fight footage against the Flash to reference, I just want to mention that I found this fight incredibly annoying. There's no indication of where the Flash is most times, and he's the Scarlet Speedster, so he's just constantly zipping around the map. That didn't make the fight hard, it just made it frustrating. You get a handful of shots on him before he teleports to the next location, so you're just trying to chase him down or catch him standing in one spot long enough to get hits in before he does it all again.
First of all, it's the fucking Flash. Of course he's gonna be hard to hit. Of course it's gonna be annoying. Of course it's gonna be frustrating. That's who the Flash is as a character. He's fast, he's witty, he's, I'm over here, nope, I'm over here now. And then, yeah, that's the fucking point, dude. And then him saying, I wish there was some indication of where he is. If you look back on the video, there's a giant fucking thing in the top left of the, or, oh, for you guys, it's over here. The top left of the screen, that's red, showing, hey, there's a fucking enemy right here. It is not my fault or anyone else in the gaming industry's fault that you didn't see that.
I do wish there was a bit of a he's down, get him moment, but unfortunately it seems like that trope wasn't used here.
He says unfortunately like it's a bad thing. I hate that trope. It does not make any sense for the Flash, who has super fast regeneration, who is also one of the fastest men alive, next to Wally West, obviously. He's not gonna just be like, ooh, that hurt. I hope nobody shoots me 1,000 times. It's not gonna happen. I'm so glad that they didn't do that, because that's corny. It's stupid. I'd much rather get frustrated and be like, you know what? Oh wow, that's kind of true to the Flash's nature, isn't it? But no, he wants this cliche, get him, he's down. That's corny, dude.
When the next quest started, I stood there while Amanda Waller called my character on comms and bantered with Poison Ivy before sending me back to the other end of the map to save citizens in a flying bus that looked like it's straight out of Fortnite.
First of all, you shouldn't mock a game for having a bus look somewhat similar to Fortnite. Okay, like, I get it was like a joke, but like, come on. And secondly, you're mad that the game stopped to have a story beat. I'm sure the conversation was story related. Maybe it was a little bit banterful, but obviously they play a decent role in the game. And yes, you're going to go to the other side of the map because it's a live service game.
At least the Riddler puzzles are making a return from the Arkham games, bringing at least one familiar fun activity to Suicide Squad's Metropolis.
Although I think that the Riddler puzzles are a good addition, if they didn't add them, I wouldn't be upset. The point of this game is that it's not the Arkham games. And having that mindset, which this guy has throughout the whole video, is so close-minded. It's a new era, it's a new world, it's a new land, it's just new. Just get with the fucking times, dude.
The potential saving grace for all my gripes could be that the whole combat system comes together a lot better when you get to sit down and actually make a build, which we didn't have a chance to do right away at the preview event.
I'm just gonna make this my final contention with the IGN, not just the dude himself, but IGN as a whole. It's gonna take time to get used to the fucking video game, man. 3 or 4 hours, although it is a lot of time, it's not a lot of time to get immersed in a world. It's not a lot of time to get familiar with the tactics. It's not a lot of time, like you said, to build a build or make a build. Yeah, it sucks a little bit, but fucking deal with it, man. The game's not out yet, and I'm just tired of people always shitting on a game when it's not even out. There are some games that deserve the shit. I agree. But the Suicide Squad, give it a chance, dude. I'm just gonna end on this note. Obviously, the IGN dude's entitled to his own opinion. I'm not upset about his opinions. I'm just upset that he's formatting it in a way that's saying, hey, this is what everyone should think. This is the review, the official review. And it's like, just because you didn't get the game and you fell over a couple times and the Flash was too hard for you, doesn't mean that you should just shit on a game. I personally don't think the Suicide Squad is going to be that good of a game. I don't. But I'm defending it still because guess what? It deserves it. It deserves a chance to shine. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!